Cheers. Oh gosh, that's good. Now I don't know which pod that is, but that is bloody excellent. Look at the crema. Look at the crema. Look at the crema on that. Look at the crema. Look at that. That is rather excellent. Oh, I don't want to put that down. We shall be coming back to you in a minute, my friend. Do not bother. We will not be neglecting you. Good evening. And tonight, we're going to talk about coffee. I've got this obsession with coffee since I was very, very young. I remember when I was about 20 and I bought my first house. And one night, I had a coffee machine. And in those days, because we're primitive, all we had was drip coffee machines over here. We had a bit of espresso, but mainly it was like drip coffee. And I remember even then I used to go to another town. I used to go to Wigan, because in Wigan they have this coffee place and they still have it. And this was 50 years ago and it's still there. You used to go in and it was in this arcade and I used to mix different beans and grind them, and it was fantastic. And I remember one day I thought, I wonder how many cups, and I had this big green cup, how many cups of it was just like an Americano. It was just like a black coffee with a bit of milk in. And I thought, I wonder how many of these I have to drink to freak me out. And I had about 5 cups of this and I never slept all night. I remember that. That was really weird. But I did, and I carried on. And I had a couple of coffee machines and French presses and things like that. So I drifted over in my early 20s towards more of an espresso based, because when Americans come with, there's lots and lots of videos on YouTube about Americans. It's like Americans coming over to Europe, and then first of all they call everywhere Europe, as if Europe's a country and not a continent. But then they complain and say, we can't get coffee. We can only get good coffee in the States. Now, most coffee in Europe is espresso based. Ristretto, espresso, you've got cafe latte, cappuccino, macchiato, everything like that it's espresso based. So basically it's a shot of espresso, or is it ristretto, is like half a shot. That's a very, very small drink, just a quick whack. But it's espresso. So you get an espresso and then you add milk in different quantities, in different frothing stages, and basically in different amounts. And basically, that is basically how you get most of the coffees. Now, when people come across from the States and get confused because they want the stuff they have at home, and then they complain because they can't get it. Anybody who's coming over here, just ask. There is a name for it specifically, but if you ask for an Americano, you'll get the same. You may not just get a cup of coffee. A lot of places will give you a cup, a larger cup, with a shot of espresso in and then a jug of hot water to fill you. And I always rather have that because it gives you a lot more control. It's like when you go for a cup of tea, and they'll bring you you get tea for 2. So they'll get you a couple of cups and they give you a teapot. And that's great because then you can either pour it out straight away or you can leave it a bit and give it a bit of a swidge and get it a bit stronger. But anyway, so I went off coffee. I think it was after I'd had cancer, because coffee can be a bit of an irritant and it was irritating my stomach, and I knew I was drinking too much, and I knew I'd been drinking too much for decades. So I went off it, and about 2 or 3 years ago I kind of drifted back onto it, and I've got back into the old thing now where I'm drinking far too much coffee. Now, I like espresso. There are 2 or 3 different kinds I like. I like a medium strength one. If you've got a 1 to 10, they usually get it between 5 and 10, and I like about a 7, right? Because I think that when you get up to 10, unless you pay a lot and you get a really good one, then they can be a bit acidic and everything. But this isn't, and I think this must be about a 7. This is gorgeous. You like my cups? Gorgeous little cups. Went down the wrong way. A lot of you will know that, because when I had a heart attack many years ago, I had acid reflux really bad for about 2 or 3 nights before it. I mean, really bad, and it's burnt all the lining of my throat. So now I'm forever swallowing things into my lungs. It happens all the time. I'm forever coughing up, and I can't stop it. Sometimes it's a good job I live on my own, because I stand in the kitchen and I just cough into the sink, and then nothing, I just go and cough, and then I'm all right again. But yes, so I love coffee, and the thing about coffee, it's a hobby. It's another of my hobbies. Whenever I take up a hobby, and I've got loads and loads of hobbies, most of you will know that, and I push hobbies like mad on the channel. Whenever I get a hobby, I throw myself into it, hook, line and sinker. And I was a bit like this when I first started going into coffee. So now I'm a bit of a coffee obsessive. But I have several coffee machines. Tell you what I've got. I've got a DeLonghi bean to cup, so that's when it's pretty great big thing with the steamer wand on the side, and you put beans in the top and it grinds them up and gives you a coffee. That's all right. I've had it for about 8 to 10 years now, and I think, because I had it even though when I wasn't really back into coffee, I was still having coffee, and I don't drink instant coffee, it's crap. So I got this, and I don't buy ground coffee because it's starting losing some of its flavour straight away. So I like grinding my own beans. So I got that, and it works great. It works great, but it works great when you get really good beans. But I think the temperature thermostat, it doesn't seem as hot. I like it hot, my coffee. It doesn't seem as hot. And I'm going to think about this. I'm going to put it through its motions. I'm going to service it and everything like that, because I want to keep it. If it dies on me, I've had it a long time. I mean, so that's all. Fair enough. It wasn't expensive. I mean, they are expensive, but it wasn't expensive for what it is. So I got one of them. And then I got, ages ago, and I don't know why I got it. I think it was for convenience, really, on one of those Nespresso things with the pods in. You put them in and you pull an handle down, and you can either have it give you 2 sizes. You can set it to give you 2 buttons, and I've got one that gives me 40ml, so that's an espresso, and one that gives me 25ml, so that's a ristretto or whatever. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Anyway, so I got one of those, and that's all right. So I've got that, the DeLonghi, and I've got that. And then, what did I do? But I ordered a load of pods, a load of caramel macchiato, which is it's just a milk. It's just it's like a bloody cafe latte. It's not. It's just like coffee, frothy coffee, any one of whatever you want. And so I got that. And then when it came, and I got the pods, I just got a load of these pods. When they came, the bloody pods were a different size. So what did I do? I went on and got one of these. They were to fit a Dolce Gusto machine. So I went online and got a Dolce Gusto machine. I got the cheapest one possible. But it works great. It's great. So what I've done with that, because I've got these pods, and they're like a caramel macchiato. So they have this slight caramel taste to them. So I used to take my Nespresso thing upstairs, and then have an espresso in the morning. Well, this is a bit better, because I can have a give me a nice long drink, about 250ml, and I can sit in bed. So I wake up every morning and I sit in bed and have a coffee before, because I am extremely civilised. So I've got that, and I've got that, and I've got French presses, I've got a cafetiere, I've got a mocha pot, and I like that. I've had that for years. In fact, it's a big one. And it was my Auntie Edna, and my Auntie Edna's been dead for about 30 years now. And she always had it, and I always wanted it anyway when she went, and I was only... Well, she died when I was about 42, so yeah, she's been dead about 30 years, and I remember going in and snaffling it after she'd gone. So I've got that, so that's really old. And the base must be really thin by now, but it works very well, because they made things to last in those days. So what's that? I've got my bean to cup, I've got my Nespresso, I've got my Dolce Gusta thing, my mocha pot, couple of cafetières, French presses, and I've got a drip coffee. Now this is like a filter coffee, but it's not a filter coffee machine. I've had loads of those. This is quite a sexy one. If I put a picture, I've got to put a picture, and the picture is the one I've got, and it's like it's just like a glass bottom with like the cone at the top, but it's got a wooden ring round it, and this is where you get it because the glass gets hot, so you can get it, you hold it by the wooden ring and pour it by that, and it's only a small cone, so you just make enough for like one or two, you know. You can make enough for a good mugful, or you can make enough just for a couple of shots or something like that. And I've got that, and I've got couple of coffee grinders. I've got loads of things. I'll put some pictures up there, if I can find some, of the things I've got. And like everything else, it's like a hobby. I find that doing anything like that, when you actually... A hobby doesn't have to be one of the recognised hobbies. It doesn't have to be hunting, shooting, fishing, painting, knitting, pottery, making jewellery, sewing, crocheting, needlework, oil paint, water paint. It doesn't have to be any of those. It's just something you do. I always think of reading as being a hobby if you read a lot, because if you read a lot, you tend not to just pick something up and read. Reading is a very deeply conscious decision. You get so much out of a book. I mean, I was digging through all my books the other day, and I found an old one about Buddhism. It's the first one I ever got. My mate gave it me when I was about 40 then. And he kept telling me I was a Buddhist, and I kept telling him I wasn't. Anyway, he gave me this book. You know, I like to think I live a Buddhist style lifestyle, but I'm not a Buddhist. I like my alcohol too much. But books, so you get so much out of a book, don't you? And you make this. You can have this great conscious search to find a title that does it for you. When you find it's great. And I enjoy books. Reading is one of the most intensely satisfying things I can do. So that is a hobby. Reading isn't just a pastime or something somebody does. It's a hobby. And just like my messing about with coffee is a hobby, because I actually research. I watch things on YouTube all the time about different beans and how to grind them, and the best grinder to get to grind a boober and all this, or why, and how to grind them best for making espresso very fine, you know, drip, coarser and brown, all this kind of thing, and different coffees and different techniques, different frothing techniques and things like that. And I go into things and I research things because I think, well, if you're doing something, it's like, I always say this, and I've actually said it in one of my videos. We may know about car engines. We may know everything about car engines and the details, anything we know about. We may know about things, and we know them in great detail. Our bodies. How many of us know what is only a quarter of an inch below our skin? What do we know? There are things under there that are working to keep us alive that we've not a clue. We've not a clue. And we own our body. Is the only thing we will actually own that is ours, and nobody else can do anything. The only way you can own our body is to detach it from us, and then it is no use to man the beast. So, and we don't know, do we? Not many of us. Doctors do, some nurses do, but then a lot of that is just rough detail, because the whole thing is so complicated that that's it. We walk around all the time. Think about that. You walk around all the time, and this body, the only thing you're going to own, and you know what it looks like from the outside, but you've probably not a clue what's under there. Most people, a lot of people who walk around don't know exactly where their heart is. They always go, oh, it's over here. Well, it's not over here. It's more central. You know, people just don't know these things, and I don't. I'm as guilty as anybody else. I kind of say things about my body, and I just hope I'm right. You know, I might say like, oh, you know, I've got an ache and I think it might be this and that, and I put my hand there, and somebody's probably thinking, that's where his bloody kidney is. What's he putting his hand there for? You know, and it's like, I just say things and I hope I'm right. So what I'm saying is, if I'm going into a hobby, if I'm going into a pastime, if I'm taking anything up that's going to cost me a little bit of money, and I'm going to get passionate and I'm going to get a lot out of it, I like to research it, because I don't want to be just floating along on the surface of that sea and saying, isn't this beautiful? Aren't those waves beautiful? I want to know what's swimming underneath. I want to know what's going about his business underneath there. And so you learn. I want to learn about these things. So I do. So I go into these things mad deep. And I enjoy it, and I'm loving this now. And yeah, I'm on this. I probably do drink too much coffee, really, but I kind of only drink espressos. I don't drink quantities. I'm one of those. By the time I've had a cup of tea, by the time I've got down to the bottom of a cup of tea, I've had enough, kind of thing. You know, it's like volume. I can drink beer all day. I can drink, you know, alcohol, but things like cup of tea and things like that. Kind of had it. Or coffee's even more so, because coffee's got a more of a taste, and it's probably more of a demanding taste on your senses. So basically, I don't want a big cup of coffee unless it's cappuccino or something like that, which, you know, I don't tend to drink a lot of. But I just kind of drink espresso. So I've got loads of different. I mean, in the dining room there, I've got, I must have thousands of different pods. They won't use it up. I mean, I use them every day, and they never seem to go down, because I see something else I like. If I'm out somewhere and I see something and I think, oh, let's have a look at that. And even if it's like, if it's different, the ones I've got, I'll get it just to try, because I always think, well, they'll keep for long enough. I mean, they do go off eventually. I think they'll keep for long enough. So I'll get this. So I'm just building up my stockpile. And then I could drink more. I could drink more and more and more all day. But I do realise that it's not good for you, and drinking too much is, you know, I'll be running around and jabbering like a lunatic. So that's it. So got my coffee in my little cup. I'm going to have to find out what that is. I will, if I find out what it is, I'll put a picture up of it after. Because that is exceptionally good. We like that. I was going to, Molly's here at the side of me. She's got into this habit now. She's a clever little girl. I get her on, pick her up. I have to pick her up to get her on the couch now. So I pick her, and she wants to get on. And then she gets off, and then because she wants a drink of water. And then she'll come and stare at me. So I spend my time picking her up. It keeps me fit, I suppose. It's like going to the gym. But she got on, but she was snoring her head off before. And I thought, oh, when I start recording, I'm going to like get the microphone and put it next to her. But she's kind of pulled the cushion. We've got a blue cushion. And she does this at night in the bedroom. She kind of pulls, she gets up, so she's got her head on the pillow like me. And she's doing the same now. She's pulled this thing down and she's pushed her head into it. And I think I think it's just like a comfort thing, really. This security that she's got her head shoved into something that's soft, but she's loose. So comfy. I'll just spoil my viewing a little bit and show you. See, can you see? See, that cushion isn't there. She gets on and then she pulls at it, and then she usually pushes it off, so I have to like get hold of it and push it back onto the couch. Look, she's moving her legs there. She's dreaming. But she's so comfy, she looks so comfy. But we've been out today and yesterday, and I did some recording today for my next video, and it was raining. It stopped raining long enough for me to do, and I had to do it in a couple of bites because it did rain, and my camera, the camera I'm using now, isn't waterproof. I have got waterproof. I've got GoPros, things like that, which are waterproof. If I can submerge them in water, but this isn't. I don't think a little bit of rain would do it any harm, but I don't like it. So I used this, and it rained. And it's going to rain tomorrow, and it rained yesterday. And we've had such a long spell of beautiful weather. We had a beautiful autumn, we've had a beautiful winter, and let's hope it gets this weather out of the way so that we can have a beautiful spring as well. Because I like spring. I mean, the thing is, it's funny, isn't it? When you go out into the weather, it's like summers and winters. We've had no snow. And and if you have a summer with a lot of sun, or if you have a spring that's a bit damp and you wanted it light and crisp and that beautiful light you get in spring light, and you don't get that, it's always a bit disappointing because you think, once it's gone, when that season's gone, then you've got a full 12 months, or at least, but by the end of it, you've got 9 months to wait for it to start again. So, if you get a disappointing season, it is disappointing because you can't say, oh, spring might get better in July because we're into summer then. So it's not, you're going to have to wait. And it's a bit like that at the moment. It's pouring down. And I was sitting here this morning, and I'm putting off going out, and I'm looking through the window and it's pouring down. But Molly's in her bed, and Molly's like, she will fall back to sleep. She does tend to fall back to sleep when she gets up in the morning. But before that, she'll kind of just lie there looking at me because she wants a wee. And then after I have to get my coat on, and this morning I had, it was cold, so I had like a fleece, like a quilted jacket on, and then a down jacket, and then a waterproof over the top of that. So I have to do that. But then she jumps up, she loves it, and then when she goes out, she's absolutely crapped up. She's messed up to heck by the time we get home again, and she's wet through and cold and gets in front of the fire. But yeah, we're having this spell of like this dire weather at the moment, and I'm hoping it just kind of picks up a little bit so that we can just have a little bit of sunshine, because I got pictures and it's not the same. With us being a maritime island, it's different all over the place. And in Scotland, apparently, it was colder, but it was clear because Jason, the American islander, who I've mentioned before, took some pictures of the aurora. We've had nothing like that, because sometimes we can see it from here if we're lucky, but we've had nothing like that because all we've had is 100% cloud cover. It's dark by 4:30, 5 o'clock now here. I'm putting the lights on and closing the blinds. And the thing is, another few weeks, get into summer, and at the height of summer, I mean, I think we all probably have about 5 hours of night, if that, really. And the sun in the northern hemisphere goes on forever here. I mean, we're out at 10 o'clock at night. It's still bright sunshine, and then it goes, and then next thing you know, 3:30 in the morning, it's coming light again, and you're getting up. Because I go with the sun. I don't like... So I'm hardly getting any sleep in summer. I always feel fresh because it's just nice to be alive in summer and spring. But, I had blackout blinds on the boat. I should get some blackout blinds, I think. I think I might. Because I've got Venetian wooden ones. And you know you put Venetian blinds like that and then they close up like that. Well, I have to close mine up upwards. Because if I close them down, I've got a bloody street light right outside my bedroom window. And if I put it downwards, the light comes between the slats. And if I put it upwards, it still kind of comes in a little bit, but hardly anything. So it doesn't bother me. But it does mean that it does kind of get light in the morning. Not saying it gets light, but a pair of good curtains of blackout blinds would sort out that problem, and we'd probably never get up till lunchtime. The fire's just been on. I hope you couldn't hear it. But I've just made some pasta for tea. I gave Molly some, but she's not eating it. I'm not sure she even knows it's there. And I ate like a couple of forkfuls, and then I just losing my appetite. And well, I say I'm losing my appetite. I kind of like to eat early. Now, they say you should, that's how you should do it. I mean, opinions on that change all the time, don't they? But that's what they say you should do. So I kind of eat early. So I have usually go for a walk, and then I'll have something when I get back, something like cheese on toast or egg on toast. But the trouble with that is because I fill up very quickly, and I don't have I don't really have an appetite. I don't get hungry. That means that come evening, I kind of think, well, I better have something to eat. So I make something, and I'm not sure how much I should make because I haven't really got an appetite. So I've made all this pasta, and I got some minced beef. I made a proper bolognese sauce and all that, and it was really, really nice. I had about 2 forkfuls. It's in a bowl now. I'll put it in the fridge. There's tons left. It'll probably last me about 3 days. How boring, but I won't throw things away. I don't know what you lot are like out there, but I never, ever, ever throw food away. I resent that. If I go in the fridge, I've got a courgette, but it's a big one. It's about yay big. So I've used one. I kind of cut it into like rectangles, and I tossed it in oil and seasoning. And then I did it in the oven, and that was nice. And I had that with some roasted veg, some other roasted veg, and some fish, I think. So I had that, but I've got one in there, and I'm kind of thinking, what should I do with this? But it's like with my guts, like I say, I can't do that too often. I can like throw in some veg every now and again. I like, I know how important it is to eat veg, so I do eat what I can to get me substitutes for that. But I'm thinking I'm going to have to use this courgette up because it's only like 40p's worth. But I'm not throwing that away. I don't throw food away. I eat it when I get a bloody loaf of bread. That's why I make my own bread, because it doesn't keep, fair enough. It seems to keep longer than the stuff I get in the supermarket, but it dries out quickly. I have to be very careful. I have to wrap it up and seal it to keep the moisture in. It does keep for a good while then. But I'm sick of buying bread, and then I buy them little loaves. Oh, I buy little loaves, but I don't eat a lot of bread. So then I go and it's got bloody mould on it and I have to throw it away. And I really resent that because I don't like throwing food away at all. I never throw food away. I never do. If I buy grapes, I like grapes. But if I get them and then I won't eat them, and then I look at them and I can see a couple of them have like gone mushy, I just gobble them all up, eat them all, because I think I don't have any more. There's 400 grapes in here, but I've already lost 2 because I'm not losing any more. So I'll just sit there, just bring them in the living room and sit here and eat a full punnet of grapes just for the sake of not having to throw them away. I think we're all a bit like that, aren't we? I need to put some birdseed out tomorrow. I'm just looking at my birdseed bag, because I forgot to fill it up, and I'm going to end up with a load of. I've got a massive bag of birdseed. I think it's about 40 kilo or something like that. I'm going to have to use that. We're on time tonight. Last week we put it up late, but I think I'm timing it because I don't have to do much editing on these. Not like on the ones where I'm walking around. I could just sit here basically. I can just go through it, cut out a couple of pauses or a couple of. I tend to go. You only find this out when you start recording yourself. I go. So I kind of edit it and cut those out because if you jump, it's because I've cut this out because it just irritates me. You find out I say like a lot, I think. I said there's a phrase I use a lot. You don't realise, do you, until you start recording yourself and listening to yourself, you don't, and then you think, oh, God, do I keep saying that? It's a habit. I have to stop. Just keep my eye on Molly, make sure she's still moving. She's been like that now for about an hour. Absolutely whacked out, which is fine by me. I don't know what we're doing tomorrow. Oh, it's weekend. It'll be absolute madness. It started off at COVID. It was quiet. It was always quiet round here. And then COVID came and it got really busy and it annoyed me because people were going out into the countryside in the cars and then throwing rubbish out of the cars. They were parking up on the grass verges, chewing all the grass up. But it was the litter that really annoyed me. But then now COVID's over, but they're still coming out. And they come out because it's such a beautiful area I live in and it's a magnet for everybody from Bolton to Preston to Liverpool. It's like this massive area of beautiful, this diverse as woodland, and there's these, what they call them, the Chinese garden and the Italian garden, which aren't gardens, it's woodland, but it's like an arboretum, it's more exotic trees, but in over several hundred acres with different themed lakes in it, and people come for that, and that's on the top of the hill, and I don't go up there very often. I mean, I struggle climbing up there now, but not only that, it's just full of idiots. And there's bikes. This is it. Tomorrow morning I'll get up, I'll get run over by bikes, and everybody's out running. It's like there's an hierarchy, there's a pecking order. It's bikes, then runners, and then us lot at the bottom. We're the ones that have to get out of the way for everybody else, and the runners have to get out of the way of the cyclists, and the cyclists have to get out of the way, and then everybody has to get out of the way of the horses. But we don't mind that because all the horsey people know Molly, and they know that Molly just ignores horses. But the only problem is, because she's blind, she kind of wanders about in front of them. So at this stop now, there's about half a dozen different, these young girls, and they always stop when they come in up and they'll shout, Molly, Molly, mind out the way. It's great. It's great when everybody knows her. Everybody knows her and feeds her, turns her into the worst begging dog in the world, and then she won't eat her tea when she gets home. But I don't think she's suffering at all here, no. So I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to edit this and get this up. And I think we're going to have an early night. And I think it's dark, cold days that does this. Do you ever really, really, really look forward to going to bed? I look forward to going to bed now. And I kind of have it in my mind's eye and I think, oh yeah, pull the covers up and I might have a read. Or what I do, I take my phone up, and which I don't know where it is, and then I'll kind of play Scrabble on it or something like that, and I'm thinking, it's like a habit I've got into, but I think shouldn't be doing this because certainly this is stimulating my brain before I go to bed. Anyway, I used to sleep. I put my head down. My mum used to laugh at this. She used to say, "You better sleep on a clothesline, you." I just sit in a chair and put my head back and fall asleep, but I don't now, and I don't sleep. And that's probably retirement that's done that. Even though I think I keep myself active, I probably do a lot less because I've always had very, very hard manual jobs. So obviously I'm not going to replicate that. So obviously I'm going to do a lot less. And I think that's I think that's what it is. But at least I keep my body fairly active. We don't do a lot. There's a lot of people at my age that do a lot more than I do. Basically, I just do walking. I don't do cycling now or running now. And things I used to do all the time. But I just do cycling. But I like, one thing I do is I keep my mind active. I've always done that. I've got this kind of obsession about, when I talk, I kind of listen to myself and I judge myself, and I kind of like it when I sound okay, when I sound like I might be interesting to listen to, because there's so many people you talk to and it's like, can't wait to get away from them. And I think I don't want to be that person. I want to learn lots of words, and I want to be able to speak mellifluously and be entertaining when I talk, and I hope I am. But that's kind of, so that keeps that going, and I think that is the trick. The body's important, but the mind is more important. There's no point having a fit body when you've got a crocked out mind, is there? She's moved. She's making those noises now. I'm going to make myself another cup of coffee now. I shouldn't do really, but I am going to do. I'm going to have another one, and then I'm going to call it a day then. Oh, she's up. She's up and at 'em. Do you want to come and say hello to everybody, Molly? She's having a scratch. Are you scratching your chin? Do you want to come up here? Come up here and say hello. There she goes. Little Miss Big Ears. Look who's there, Molly. It's the people. I know. You beautiful girl. Right, down you go. No doubt she'll be demanding. This, she's doing it. She's on the edge of the couch now. I'll have to... Let me lift her off. I have to lift her off. She does jump off, but when she jumps off, her legs are so weak now that she just... It doesn't seem to bother her. It doesn't seem to hurt her anything. She just hits the deck and falls in a big lump and gets up. And she's walking out now, and she's old now. Her head's down and everything, and her legs look a bit stiff, but she's going to have a drink of water now. I'm going to go because I think her water might run out. She drinks gallons. I had her at the vet. Last time I went, I was saying, is she diabetic with it? He said, nah, she's just thirsty. And that's good, because I like anything and anybody. I encourage my kids to drink a lot. My son obviously took that the wrong way and now drinks a lot. But he's all right. Hey, my daughter's got a new job. My daughter was a teacher, and then she was a deputy head. She's a special needs teacher, and this was a deputy head. But she's now got the headship. I need to speak to her. She just texted me about it. She's got the headship at some school. I don't know where it is, when she starts, blah, blah, I know nothing about it. But but the other school she was in was a private school. So it wasn't mainstream education. And mainstream education over here, for all you Americans, is known as the public sector. So you get paid by the government, or the private sector, like people like me who work for private companies, you end up paying for it. But they get really good, you get usually a good salary. They get very, very, very good pensions. Now, she didn't get a good pension at the other place, and I've been badgering her for 10 years now to move out to there. She's been going, yeah, Dad, yeah, Dad, yeah. And she knew I was right. She'd admit I was right, but I just don't think she had the energy. But then she's got that, so she's now in mainstream education, a headmistress. I don't ask her how much she's earning, but it's probably at least twice what I ever earned in my life. So she's quite good. She's 40 now, 41 this year. So I'm really, really pleased with her, because she was a rebel when she was a kid. She was like her and bloody scare 'em. Oh, Lucy, she was always in trouble. And she was always drunk and always fighting, and she really, really was one of them rum lasses that you see staggering up and down the high street on a Saturday night after they've had too much in a club. She was one of them, and then she got her act together. Anyway, she was fine once she started a family. No, but she's absolutely great, Lucy. I'm very, very proud of her, and she's a real daddy's girl. David's not so much a daddy's lad, but David is like his dad. David's I say He's a spitting image of me. He's about 6'4" and about 20 stone. He's massive. He's massive. He's got too much weight on. Big bald head, enormous beard. Looks like a Viking, a bald Viking. But he's all right. He's doing well as well. I don't think he'll ever progress. He's been like this lecturer at a place in Manchester now for years, 15 years. I don't think he's any intensity. He's not got any drive. He's quite happy. He earns enough. He earns enough for his beer and his house and just plodding along. And Dave will plod along. He's never had a foreign holiday in his bloody life. He really don't want one, as long as he can go to Brewdog in middle of Manchester and drink gallons of really good beer, because he is a bit of a beer snob, which I've taught him right there. So, and that's it. That's my gossip for the day. And I'm going to go and see, because Molly is taking her time. Oh, I bet she's eating that pasta. Good girl. So I'm going to go and check. I'm going to go and make myself a coffee. I'm going to edit this. I'm going to get this up. I'm going to see you next week. Thank you very much for coming round. And we'll see you. Peace and love.